Hello and welcome to Relatable Code. In this video, we're going to see how to create a bottom navigation in Android using our navigation component. Okay, so let's get started. So what we're going to do in this video is to create this setup. We're going to have three fragments, and I'm going to show you how to create this bottom navigation to switch between these fragments. And I want to show you also how to toggle the colors of the items of this bottom navigation and the icons as well. Okay, let's begin with creating a menu for our bottom navigation, which will be consisting of the icons and the texts of those icons. Okay, so go to your project hierarchy right there. If you don't have a menu currently set up, you can create a menu folder by right-clicking on the resources folder, going to new and choosing Android resource directory. After that, click on the values, choose menu, and create that menu folder. Okay, after that, you're going to right click on the menu folder to create a new menu resource file. Click on that and name this something like bottom nav menu. That's what we're going to do. You can go to your split view right there. This is where we're going to add our three menu items. Okay, we're going to need three menu items, and we're going to need some icons as well. Okay, so we have an icon for our home screen, our chat screen, and our settings screen. So go into your Drawables folder and right-click, create new vector asset, and here you can start with the home icon. You can choose that one, and you can name it something like IC Home, which stands for icon. Click on next and click on finish. That's our home icon. We're going to need a chat icon. That's it. Click on OK and name it. We can add that later. We're going to name it IC_chat. Click on next and finish. And we're going to need one for our settings as well. So right click on that drawable folder, go to vector asset, and here we're going to search for settings. Add that and name it IC settings. After you've done that, you're going to go into your menu structure right there, and you're going to create three items. You can do so with opening an item tag like this, and you're going to give your items an ID. Our first ID will be navigation_home. You're going to give it an icon, which will be IC home, and a title as well. Okay, this title, which will be displayed at the bottom right there. Okay, after you've done that, you can copy that and paste it twice. Our second item will be navigation chat. It will have the chat drawable and it will have a chat title. Our third item, I think this needs some quotations, that's it. And our third item needs an ID of navigation settings. You can choose the settings drawable and give it a title of settings. Okay, that's how you create a bottom nav menu XML file. And now we're going to create our fragments. So we're going to need three fragments for our bottom navigation. One fragment for the home, one for the chat, and one for the settings as well. So let's start by creating a new fragment, blank fragment. It will be our home fragment, and click on finish. Delete what you don't need right there. You don't need to set up your binding for this example. It's not necessary. We'll just toggle some UI components in the XML file. Okay, you don't even need to change the frame layout right there. Just go to your text view, give it a center gravity, change the text. We can say something like home screen. And if we want to give it a color like this one, we can do so with background Android. Let's search for blue light. That's it, and that's our home fragment. That's how you set it up. And now we're going to create our chat fragment. Similarly, that's our chat fragment. Delete those and that as well, and the companion object. Okay, you can copy your code from the fragment home XML. You can delete the context, you don't need it, and paste it inside the fragment chat XML. This will be our chat screen. And what color did I choose? I chose green. Let's go for green. It will be hollow green light. Okay, that's our color right here. And we still have the settings fragment. So create that as well. It will be our settings fragment. Delete those as well. And delete the companion object. Go to your fragment chat XML, copy that, and paste it into the settings screen. Like that. Which color did we choose? We chose red. That's a nice color actually. So here you can choose hollow red light. Okay. You can choose any color that you want, but that's how we want to set up our fragments. Okay. And now we're going to create our nav graph. And now we're going to set up our nav graph. So go ahead into your resources folder, right click on that, go to new, and here you will create a new Android resource directory, and it will be navigation. Okay, click on OK right there. And in order to work with a nav graph, there are two dependencies that you have to add in your build.gradle file for the app level. So go ahead and add them right here. You will need these two dependencies. Paste them right there and click on sync now. Don't worry, I will provide the full source code of our project in the video's description. Okay. Why is it indexing? And now we're ready to set up our navigation graph. So go into your navigation folder and create a new navigation resource file. You can name it navgraph as we are used to. And go to your design tab so that we can add our fragments. You can start with your home fragment. Add that right there. Does it get created without a layout? That's weird. So that's our home fragment. You can add the chat fragment as well as the settings fragment. And I like to add the layout attribute just so that I can visualize these fragments. As you can see, we can now see the chat fragment, and we can now see the settings fragment. So that's how they will look like. And you have to pay attention to something. Okay, open your bottom nav menu. Your fragments need to have the same IDs as the IDs inside this menu. Okay, so we're going to go for navigation home for our first item. That will be the ID of our home fragment as well. Okay, so paste that right here so that Android can know how to set up our bottom navigation using our navigation component. You would do the same for navigation chat. Copy that, paste it for the second fragment, and you would need to do the same for your settings fragment. Okay, and that's pretty much it for the navigation graph. And now we will work with the XML layout file of our activity main. So we're going to start with our fragment container view, which will be the first component that we need in our activity main. So go ahead and create one, give it a match parent by match parent right there, and give it an ID of nav host fragment. Okay, that's how we create the fragment container view, and you will need these three attributes as well. Okay, so here we're going to set our nav graph to be nav underscore graph. Okay, and as you can see here to the left, our XML updated, and this is our home fragment. Okay, because in our nav graph, the start destination is our home fragment. And that's pretty much it. And after creating that fragment container view, you will need to create a bottom navigation view. Okay, so go ahead and create this bottom navigation view. It will have a width of match parent and a height of wrap content. It will be positioned to the bottom of your parent, just like that, and it will have a white background so that you don't see that black background. And you will of course need the menu, okay, which is our bottom nav menu. So create that, and that's pretty much it. I don't know why in the display they look so bad actually. We'll see that shortly. Okay, and let's update the height of this fragment container view so that it doesn't overlap with the bottom navigation view. So give it some vertical constraints like top to top of parent and bottom to top of. Let's give this an ID, having bottom nav, and here we're going to use bottom nav. Make sure that you have this ID, okay, so that it can be properly constrained, and we can now give it a height of 0 dp. Okay, you can do that, and I think that's it for our XML file. Okay, and finally we're going to set up our main activity. Okay, don't worry if you don't have view binding set up. You don't actually need it right here. I'm thinking about deleting it. Let's go ahead and delete it and use r.layout.activity main. Okay, there's no need to go into view binding in this topic at least, but it won't make much of a difference. We only need to manipulate a single view inside this main activity. Okay, so the first thing that we need is a reference to our nav host. Okay, so let's have nav host fragment equals to support fragment manager, find fragment by ID. It will be our nav host fragment as nav host fragment. This ID refers to our fragment container view. Okay, remember that. And we will use this nav host fragment to extract a nav controller. Okay, so create a nav controller right here with nav host fragment dot nav controller. Okay, and after that we're going to need a reference to our bottom navigation view. We can use a simple find view by ID for this case. So here, write bottom navigation equals to find view by ID, bottom navigation view r.id dot bottom nav. Okay, and after that all you need is a single method and that's bottom navigation dot set up with nav controller, and here you will pass your nav controller. Okay, that's it. That's the whole setup. And now run your application. And that's our application. Here we have our home screen, our chat screen, and our settings screen. But as you can notice in the bottom navigation, after selecting a certain item, it has a white color, which doesn't work well with our white bottom navigation. So I'm going to show you how to change the color of the selected item to set any color that you want. Okay, so go back to your application. Inside your resources folder, you're going to create a new folder. It will be a new Android resource directory, and it will be color. Okay, create that folder, and inside color, we're going to create a new color resource file. It will be our bottom nav colors. Okay, it will have a root element as a selector, and I'll show you how selectors work shortly. So press on the OK button, and here we have our bottom nav colors. Okay, we're going to need this selector to tell us or to help us choose the color that we want according to the state of our item, whether or not it is selected. Okay, and we're going to add 2 items inside this selector. So go ahead and add the first item. It will prompt you to enter a color. Okay, so you can enter here a color like color halo red light if you want. You can choose any color that you want. But what matters is state underscore checked. Okay, this will be the color for our checked state. So you will choose this color for checked equal true. Okay, and you're going to need another item. Let's give it a black color in this case, for the case where our item is not checked, okay, or not selected in our case. And after doing that, we have to use our bottom nav colors, and we can do that inside our activity underscore main. Okay, inside this bottom navigation view, you have something called tint, which you can use for the item icon tint. It can be our bottom nav colors, and the other attribute that we need will be our item text color. It will also be bottom nav colors for our case. So rerun your application, and now you can see that home is selected by default, and that's the color of our home. Okay, because it's selected, same thing goes for our chat, and same thing goes for our settings as well. Okay, if you check out your bottom nav colors, this will happen because we used a selector. Okay, so our selector works with this state checked property. So when we check this home screen, it will be checked and this color will be rendered. Okay, and by default, the other items will be unchecked, so this color will be rendered instead. Okay, and that's how you update the colors of your bottom nav items programmatically, according to which bottom nav item you're currently selecting. And now I'm going to show you how to do another thing with your selectors, and that's to change the drawable of your selected icon accordingly. Okay, so if I select chat, I will get a different icon for my home item. Okay, and you can do that by going to your drawables folder in this case, because we want to update the drawable of our selected item, and you can right click, create a new drawable resource file, and you can name it something like IC underscore home underscore dynamic. Okay, because it will get updated dynamically. And after that, you can close this one right here, and you can go to your IC home and rename it to something like IC home selected. Refactor that, and you can create another vector drawable for your home. It can be something like this, for example. Click on OK, and this will be IC home unselected. Click on next and click on finish. Okay, so now we have two icons, a selected icon and an unselected icon. So inside our home dynamic XML, we're going to add these two icons, similar to what we did with the colors. So here we're going to have our first drawable be home selected for state checked equals to true. Okay, duplicate that for our unselected home icon for state checked equals to false. Okay, that's how you create a selector to dynamically update your drawable. Now inside your let's go to our activity underscore main. Where is it? It's right there. And I think we need to check out our bottom nav menu. Okay, so for our home item, instead of using that drawable, we're going to use our dynamic home. Okay, after doing that, rerun your application. Okay, and this is our home, which is selected by default. If I click on chat, as you can see, the drawable of our home item got updated programmatically. Okay. If you find my content to be relatable, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next video.